Hi everyone, it's Catherine here at Cat V Stitches. Welcome to my latest Flosstube. It is Sunday, the 2nd of November. I'm doing an early video for once. It is 10:30 and so I've got a cat down here. As soon as I have finished this, I will be taking my dog for a walk, putting some stuff in the washer, and then hopefully, well, sorting out this video, then chilling out downstairs because I was a good girl and did all of my jobs Friday night and yesterday morning, so I can have a chill day for the rest of today. So it is, as I said, the 2nd of November. Halloween has come and gone. Here in the UK we still have bonfire night on the 5th, so this time of year is simultaneously my favourite because, as people who have watched my channel for a while will know, I love all things Halloween, which is why I'm surrounded by Halloween stitches. But because I have a dog, I also hate the fact that there's so many fireworks at this time of year, even more so than on New Year's Eve, because as I said, here in the UK and some other countries I know, we have bonfire nights. So on the lead up, like starting like a week and a bit beforehand, there's fireworks left, right and centre. And although Poochie isn't majorly anxious about them, she does bark when they come out of the blue. And so last night I had to stay up till about 12 o'clock because some, I want to swear really badly, person was setting them off till about 1:15 midnight last night. So I just stayed down with her to keep her company. So yeah. Oh, but then the night before, oh my god, there was a mini riot right outside my house. So what thinks happened is that somebody was having a house party. It's a case of parents went away and their kid, 16, 17-year-old, had a house party and about 500 people turned up. 500 dressed up teenagers all turned up, and ultimately it got shut down. So then all the kids kind of like headed out into the street, onto my street, and started, some of them were fighting, a lot of them weren't, but some of them were fighting, and the police had to turn up. But because of the numbers and because of how rowdy they were, now when I say rowdy, I don't mean that they were, oh sorry, cat fight, wait, stop it, oh sorry, oi, 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 come here, come here. Sorry. When I say rowdy, I don't mean that they were like causing damage or anything like that. I just mean that we're being loud and boisterous. But a couple of them did start fighting, and because of the numbers, the police turned up en masse. There were drones in the sky. They were like, had the riot helmets, and I mean, they didn't have the shields and no batons. There was nothing like that because these were kids, and like I said, they weren't actually causing any damage or anything like that, but they weren't moving on. So literally the police were there linking their arms and like across the road and the pavements, forcing them to move on, disperse now. And like, but a lot of this, like the fighting was going on right outside my house. So like I've got my Ring doorbell. As I've gone out to find out what's going on, you can hear the police screaming at them to move on. And at one point a couple of kids were like sat on my car, so I had to come out going, excuse me, get off my car. And they were like, oh sorry. This is what I mean, they weren't causing any damage or anything like that, but it was just so funny because it was a freezing cold night as well, you know, end of October, and then you've got some like girls like skimpy things on that, like this, freezing to death. But anyway, it was just, that's another reason why I'm exhausted today, because Saturday night I was up till about 1:30. Sorry, not Saturday night, Friday night I was up till about 1:30 because of all of that and calming the dog down, because obviously the dog was going crazy throughout all of this. And then last night with the dog, and I'm not as young as I used to be now and I can't do all of these late nights, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to get up today, get this video done, ramble on at you for the first 5 minutes and not even show you any stitches, and then enjoy the rest of my day. Anywho, stitching has been done. So I have try to, if not every night, but just get some consistent stitching done. And because of that, I'm going to start this off with my finish. So it's a Prairie Moon one, and it's called the Crypt Club. And not only is it finished, it's also fully finished. So let me move back a bit so I can get it all in. There we go. I am very happy with this. I find these really enjoyable stitches. It's on 28 count Picture This Plus Haunted, using the called for. Now they are silks, but when I first started doing these, I bought a ton of them anyway, so I've not had to buy any new ones for quite some time. So I have really enjoyed this, and it's gone up on my wall now. It's normally on that wall there, but I've taken them down because I just wanted to show off all the ones I've done, and since it is practically the Halloween episode, I thought I'd show you them all and my plans on what I'm going to do next. So this is Crypt Club. Then we've got Martini Witches. So this is one of my favourite ones. I do like this one. Again, all of these are on 28 count haunted, using pretty much the call for threads. Then there is, so this is the first one I did. This is the Merry Xmas one. So yeah, love it, love it, love it, love it. Then we've got Last Tango. This was a fun one. Oh no, come on cat, off there. I got that one, which that's the Flamingo Club, I think it's called that. Yeah. That one was a funny one to do. Now on all of these there are mistakes left, right and centre. So on this one there's too many stitches in the leg and it got all, but you just adjust, and yeah, I enjoy doing this one. I love the colours on this. 2 more to go. Then we've got Stitch Night. I love these little picture frames. There's that one. And then we've got Fright Night. There we go. So this is a good one too. Oh, and there is Ruby. So these are all the ones I have done. We'll go back up on the wall in a minute. And this is the one I'm planning on doing next. It is Three Amigos. Now for this, there are some colours here, colourful colours that I don't have, and I'm not going to buy them because I've got other threads that I can use, other silks I can use to match up. So, but I have got the fabric. Oh no, don't get my keyboard. Yeah, so that's the next one. And then after this, there are 2 left to do, but I've got a bit of a quandary. So I bought a big, ages ago, I bought a big job load of this 28 count haunted Picture This Plus, and I thought that that was going to be enough. However, it's not quite. So it's enough to do this Three Amigos and this next one that I'm going to show you, which is this one. So this is Dorothy Is My Daughter. So there's that one, but there's not enough to do the last one I've got to do, which is the cats. Oops, there we go, which is that one. So bearing in mind they've all been done on 28 count haunted, I do however have a piece of 32 count haunted, so I think I'm going to have to do the cats on 32 count haunted. There is some of the 28 count left, but it's just not enough for this. It's just shy, like an inch shy, and I'd have no borders, and I just couldn't, I wouldn't be able to finish it. I want all of these finished in the same way, in the black frames, up on my Prairie Moon wall. So yeah, I mean, because all of my which way am I pointing this one? All of my Cricut collection ones, they're all on 28 count as well. No, don't get on there, don't get on the keyboard. Sorry, I'll tell you this story in a minute. All of these are on 28 count, because that's when I first started stitching. So when I was first doing that, the Christmas one, I only stitched on 28 count. So everything I've got is on, all of those early ones on 28 count. I'm not sure the difference it's going to make, but so if anybody else has done that switch from 28 to 32 or something like that, can you let me know if it makes that much of a difference, or if I'm just over dramatising it in my own mind. I refuse to buy any more of the Picture This Plus. I mean, it's lovely and all of that, but it's expensive, and I just don't want to buy any more of it. So yeah, so just let me know if it's not going to make that much of a difference. Anywho, so that's the first bit of stitching. Finish that, so let's get on to the rest of it. Oh no, first of all, this little madam here had finally figured out that on my keyboard it generates heat, and yesterday I forgot to close my keyboard up, and she fell asleep, and she must have slept there all night on the keyboard. And I came there this morning and nearly had a panic, because she'd somehow managed to adjust the size of everything to 800 plus, but then I couldn't properly get access to reduce it back down. So I've had to spend, this video probably would have been finished by now because I got up nice and early to do everything, but then I had to spend nearly half an hour trying to get it to size down. This was even before the lock-in screen. It was just a bloody nightmare. So now I'm going to have to remember every night to make sure I've closed my laptop down. Anywho, moving on. Oh, I'll do a proper life update because I've got quite a few things to discuss at the end of the video. We've already natted on enough. Okay, next bit of stitching I did was a start. It's on Plum Street Samplers, and it's Toil and Trouble. So that is what it's going to look like. I am doing this on, let me just double check. I can't remember if it's 30, it might be 35 count I'm doing this on. Where is it? Toil and Trouble, Toil and Trouble. Toil and Trouble I'm doing on 35 count Witch Elt, and it's silver grey. And I am up to that is what I've done so far on this. So I've done quite a lot of the black work for the house or the castle or whatever it is, and started on those trees. So I'm doing this two strands, over 2 over 2, because I tried it 1 over 2, so just one strand, and I didn't like the coverage because I wanted that black to be a bit, you know, to pop a bit more. So I'm doing it 2 over 2, and I'm happy with that. But I'm going to put this one away for a bit now. I just wanted to do a little bit of spooky stitching in the spooky season. But I've got other things I want to progress before this. That's that one. Next, I did a little bit more stitching on my, oh, let me get the front page, on my Hollandse Merklap, or however my Jeannette Douglas one there. So I have done all the actual stitching on this, as in the X's, they're all done, and I'm now working through all the speciality stitching on this. And this is one I want to get back to, because I want to get this one done because I love it and I want to get it hung up. So I've been working from bottom up, and as you can see I have pretty much done everything below this line here. So I'm very happy with that. I think it looks glorious. and I enjoy doing the speciality stitches. I enjoy the effect they have, and I absolutely love that peacock. So yeah, so I'm just going to get this out for a few days at a time and just keep working my way up. That's that one. This is on this is a lovely piece of fabric. This, I think it might be the cauliflower actually. This is 35 count again, and it's silver grey. I think this is, I've not put which make it is. It's Wygart Belfast. And you know, I think this might actually be, no, it's not. I'm sorry, I've got the wrong thing on here. This is 32 count, and it's light mocha. It's the called for. Sorry, it's Wygart Belfast 32 count light mocha. I must have accidentally deleted that off. Okay, so that's that one. Let me just put it away. I'm using all the called for silks on that because I knew that one was going to be a special one, so I invested in the silks for that. So next one is another spooky one, and it's another Prairie Moon, but it's not in the Crypt Club pattern range. This is the house that Jack's built 2. It's that one. And this I am stitching on, let me just find it, come on, Jack's house, there we go. This is on 32 count Saturine, and it's from Chromatic Alchemy. And let me get something behind it. There we go. So basically I did all of that at the top, so all of this. Not these were already done, but all of these little motifs. I finished the boots off and I started on this here. So I'm doing this just using 2 colours. Oh, this was a hoot. I'd not stitched on this for a while, and I couldn't remember which red I'd used. And I decided to start stitching this in the evening when the lighting was crap, and I couldn't remember if it was tulip. So these are all the silks I've got for my Prairie Moons here. So I couldn't remember if it was grape juice or tulip. Just put them both up together. I couldn't remember which one it was I was doing this on, so I had to go back onto an old video and realise that I had actually started doing it on tulip, but it was just too vivid, so I'd switched over to grape juice. So thankfully I had these videos to remind me. Oh, this is my last little bit of Haunted. So this is yeah, that is so annoying that it's just not enough of the 28 count for the last 3. Right, let me have this, sweetheart. You can't lie on that. So that one's probably going to go away for a bit now. Pop that in there. Okay, so I'm surrounded by cats at the moment. Yes, hello, I can hear you. The dog is downstairs. She's eaten and off. This cat is just obsessed with sleeping on my electronic devices. Oh, and I've got Greya down there as well. Sorry. Okay, next bit of stitching is so I've just been doing this in the last couple of days. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to get a bit done on this. It's my Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain by Kathy Barrick. This is being done on 40 count mocha, I think. 40 count Wygart Vintage Country mocha. So I worked on getting the leaves put on the tree down there. I'd done half of this branch here, and I'll get, sorry, one of my cats just knocked over the bin. It's pure chaos in here, it's too early. I'd done half of the leaves on that end branch and then just finished that off, then did the other 3 branches and then did all of that on, this is the moon here, so I've done all of this and all of this here. So, and this always reminds me how much I do actually enjoy stitching on 40 count, doing 1 strand over 2. Although I cannot do it unless I have my big magnifying thing and light. But I do really enjoy stitching on this. So, but I don't know what the hell I was doing when I last stitched on this, because the colours that I've used on this, I was trying to match up, and then I suddenly realised that I must have just been in some world of my own and just put in, just selecting random leaf colours, because they certainly don't match up with the pattern. So I ultimately just had to surrender to the fact that I was obviously having a chaotic day that day, and then just make sure the rest were correct and these matched up. But yeah, I think it looks so nice. I will be coming back to this one shortly because I would like to make some significant progression on this one. I always forget, it's always like tucked away and it's not right in the, you know, the front of my mind, and then when I get it out and do actually stitch on it, I really enjoy it and I love seeing progression on it. But I worked on that for a good couple of days, but then decided I wanted to switch on something that was a little bit, needed a little less brain power because things have just been chaotic. I also worked on, I know, quite a bit of stitching here. I also did a little bit on my Carolyn, well, more than a little bit to be honest. I did some on my Carolyn Manning, and this is Peacock Topaz. Let me just open it up for you. Let me just show you the pattern. I will be one memento. As per usual, I am not organised at all. Where is she? I have to go on my Google Drive here to get the... Okay, now I can't find her. Talk amongst yourselves, there will be a moment. There she is, Carolyn Manning. And Peacock Topaz. So just wait for this to open properly. There we go. So this is the one I am working on at the moment, just full of my favourite colours there. I do have, as people who have watched me before, they'll know I have several of her to work through, and I have actually completed one, which is there. But that is on 28 count, and I've now, hang on a minute. Sorry, that's on 14 count, and I have now switched to 16 count. So I have done it before. I have switched down. I'd forgotten about this. This is what I have done so far. So we're now pretty much at the end of this now. So how glorious are all those colours though? They look so cool. I'm doing this on, like I said, 16 count, and I'm doing it 2 over 1, so 2 threads over 1, because this is Ada I'm working on. And the colour, it's a, which one is this? Is this mint or is this blue? I can't tell in this light which one it is. I think this is like a minty one, this. Have I got it written down here? No, I didn't put the colour, but it is. It's a kind of a minty colour. I just got this from Wool Warehouse. And yeah, that one was done on, like I said, that was done on Ada as well, a purpley one. But this is just, this isn't one I've been recently working on, but these are such easy stitches. I mean, the back, I'll show you the back here, is an absolute mess. I travel all over the shop, but you know what? Don't care. Once it's up like that, nobody sees the back. Oh, I've got another cat come to join me here. And so now we're going to move on to, yes, the last thing, and this is the most recent thing I've been stitching on. In fact, when I say most recent, I mean last night, and probably for the rest of the day if I do get any stitching done. This is my long dog. I just had a hankering to do some long dog stitching, and it's You Belong to Me. Now, it's on the frame at the moment. I'm not going to take it out because I've just got it in the perfect position, but I have done pretty much the top here. I have done some of the animal, well, I've done all of this animal, this tree, these little bits here, here and here, and I'm currently working on this area here, specifically this tree there. So that is what you're looking at the moment. Here we go. So this is what I did last night, all of this here. Now, this is the one where I have completely fouled up the top row, and it is affecting now the stitching I'm doing here. Not enough that I need to pick out stuff and restart stuff. It's easy to just stitch around it and make it fit, because luckily there's enough gaps. But it's the one where I put it on my pattern keeper, and it cut off the end column on every page. And even though somebody very kindly in the comments told me about this, and in my mind I knew about it, I still would stitch and just carry on stitching and forget to take into account the fact that I was cutting off a column. So I had to do a lot of bodging and put an extra column in here and there to make it fit. But as I'm moving on down to these freestanding little things in there, they're not quite matching up with what's above. But luckily, like I said, there's enough space in between them that I can make it work without it being a major issue. And when I finish these and move on again, it won't be any issue at all. But it's just funny. I've gone back to doing it on good notes in here now, so I don't even have to think about it. But yeah, sometimes even it's just so frigging typical. Even though I knew it was an issue, I'd just get so carried away in my stitching, I'd carry on, and then it wouldn't be until like a bit later I'd be like, oh, do I really want to unpick it, or should I just carry on? So I just carried on, and it's worked out fine. I'm doing this, sorry, just to tell you what I'm stitching this on. This is on, let me find it again. Where is it? You Belong to Me Long Dog. It's 32 count vintage grey Swigart, and I am using just DMC on this. I'm not using any fancy threads. It's DMC 718. I just think this is a lovely colour, and I think it looks absolutely gorgeous on here. So yeah, so this is what I'm currently working on, and will be continuing to work on for a little bit. So that is all my stitching plans. In the immediate future, I don't have a plan for a new start. That Prairie Moon one, I probably won't start that for a little bit, unless of course I completely change my mind, which I want to do. But I want to get a little bit more progression done on that long dog, and I would like to do a bit more of the specialty stitches on my Jeannette Douglas. But other than that, I'm kind of getting out of setting myself concrete plans for my stitching, because I have learned over the years that over the many times on these floss tubes where I said, oh yeah, I'm going to do X, Y and Z, I know for a fact that that's not, that within a week and sometimes within a day those plans are changed completely. So I just, at this moment, I just know I'd like to progress that one a little bit further and get some more of the specialty stitches done on my Jeannette Douglas. I was just over the moon that I got the other Prairie Moon one done, so that was good enough for me. So anyway, that's all the stitching. I've got no new purchases. I'm trying to not purchase anything because I've got far too much. I've got far too many patterns. I've got enough thread, unless it's like a DMC thread I need urgently for my Carolyn Manning or something like that. I'm not buying any more silks or anything like that for some time to come, because I've got loads of it. So I don't need to buy any more. For my Prairie Moons, I'll just do matching up, a closer match as possible, so that's fine. Yeah, so that's really it for the stitching. So for anyone who's here just for the stitching, adieu. Have a lovely day, week, month, or however long it'll be till I see you again. And I hope you and your family are all safe and well. And for everyone else, let's do a quick life update. I've covered the little mini riot, but I do have a couple of other things that have been going on for anyone that's interested. I went on holiday with my mum. For anybody who watched the last video, you know that I was actually due to go to the Essex Needlework Retreat, but then my mum desperately needed to go on a holiday, and I said I'd take her, and the only weekend we could do happened to be around the Essex Work Needle retreat. I mean, I was gutted I missed it because I love those retreats, but it's my mum, and to be honest, I wanted a week off as well. So we went to Llandudno. We went to stay in a cottage on a well, it's not really a caravan, it was more like a lodges on this site, and it was really nice, the place we stayed in, apart from the fact that the Wi-Fi was a bag of shit and I had to use my data on my phone. Other than that, it was lovely. Me and my mum get on really well. You know, we can be quiet with each other. You know, that bit in life when you're with somebody that you can just sit there and maybe they read or watch something and you do your stitching, and you don't need to be talking all the time to fill in uncomfortable silences. Well, me and my mum have got that kind of relationship where we can just be and enjoy ourselves, and we can go off and do our own thing if need be. But then if we want to come together and have a natter for an hour or two, we do that. And I basically was my mum's chauffeur for a week. Although I say basically, there was nothing basic in it at all, because let me tell you the horror story that occurred before we even got to the bloody cottage. So Llandudno is about 2-hour-ish ride away from where I am. However, I had to go to Lytham where my mum is. So I'm in the Manchester area. I had to drive up to Lytham where my mum is, then go from Lytham down to Llandudno, which adds, you know, about 50 minutes onto it, on top of driving up there to my mum. So it was, you know, I'd already, before we even got there, I'd already done about 4 hours worth of driving. But about 5 minutes before we got there, my brake stopped working. And when I say stopped working, I mean I could barely get it to push down. It was like somebody had put a brick underneath the pedal and I was trying to push it down. So it would give a tiny little bit. So to brake, it would ultimately brake and I'd have to hand brake it to stop it completely. But I was like, oh my God, am I going to be the one who kills my mum? Because obviously my mum was in the car with me. We're still on a major road here. So I managed to keep on driving it till we got off the slip road and drove very slowly, almost stood up to put pressure on the actual brake so we could stop. Managed to get it to the place we were going to, call the AA out. Now by this time it was later on, it was dark by the time we got there, so we got the AA out. But they sent someone from a local garage out and he told us completely the wrong thing was wrong with it. And so we were just going to arrange for it to go to a local garage because he said, oh yeah, it's an easy fix, it's just a brake pad or something or other. But then the AA came out the next day to do the tow to a garage, but they always double check it when it's like another garage that does the work. And when it's a garage they've hired to do the work, they always double check it. So thankfully, because this guy took, you know, I told him everything that had happened, and it was like, no, there's absolutely nothing wrong with your brake pads. It's your cam belt or wet belt, plus it's your vacuum pump for your brake, completely gone. My car's nearly 10 years. I should have known. It's a Ford, and they're notorious for the wet belts going. And this is not a little job. This is a massive job. It's a full day in a garage, and not all garages do these kind of jobs. So we're in Llandudno. My local garage up here, well, the two garages I use up here, they don't do this work. I didn't know anywhere else to go. It was, this was a Saturday, so nobody was open. So we had to go via the AA. They had to recommend one in Bangor to do it. And even they were like, well, if we do, you know, we're not going to be able to do it till towards the end of the week. So we were going on the Friday. And they were like, it's going to be maybe Thursday before we get a chance to do it, because like I said, it's a full day. I know, and not all garages do this kind of work. So the AA had to tow it there, and I then had to hire a car. And when I tell you, to fix the car itself was 1.5k, and then it was renting on top. Oh my God. It was just a frigging nightmare. And then it was touch and go as to whether or not the car was going to be ready before we went. Thankfully, I picked it up on the Friday morning, but then we were supposed to be out of the place we were in for 10:30. But they were really nice, and they were like, no, if you need longer, just let us know. We've got nobody coming in that day, so just let us know. So managed to get the car back, and we were out for about 12 o'clock, so it wasn't that bad. But oh my word, the stress of it. I mean, we were still able to enjoy the holiday because obviously, yeah, I just rented a car and we just used that. I mean, I had to be really careful because I had the dog, so I had to get all the covers that I've got in my back seat and put it in the rent car, so they would never know, and it remained pristine, thankfully, because the dog is very good in the car. She just lies down and doesn't move. So that was fine. And, you know, we got to enjoy ourselves. We did have a lovely, lovely time. And my mum was actually, she was really sad because she didn't want to leave, and I just felt heartbroken. But, yeah, no, it was a really nice week. It just would have been nice not to have all of that happen. Because then, a couple of days ago, I was driving home from Mum's, and this time the acceleration went on the bloody car. And I was like, are you kidding me? Because I had to get the AA out again. Luckily this time I'd come off a motorway and I was on a back road. But the AA had to come out again, and this time had to tow me back home because it was a Sunday and there was nowhere it could be dropped. And I was just thinking, I can't with this car. But luckily it's been to the garage and they just think it needed resetting or something. But I was just like, no, not another thing. So that was a holiday. It was a lovely, lovely holiday. The weather, even though it was the end of September, start of October, the weather was actually nice. It was warm enough that it wasn't an issue. Actually, what's the better way of saying that? The weather was nice enough that it wasn't an issue. It wasn't too cold. It wasn't too warm. The dog loved it because she got to go on a beach every day for her walk in the morning. So she was in heaven. And yeah, it was just really nice and relaxing. So yay for the holiday. I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't miss everybody that I normally meet up with at the retreat, but it was a nice holiday. One thing I did I've got the state of my nails as well. I had those lovely long nails, and eventually they all had to come off, and now they're all manky. I've got to let them grow and recover. But anyway, what I did want to say is, in my last video I mentioned about one of my cats was having issues, and I didn't know, because I've got so many of the buggers, I didn't know which one it was. And somebody recommended getting one of the like Ring doorbells, Ring indoor cameras. Well, I got one and I was able to narrow it down to two of them. One of them, it turned out that two of them were having little issues. So one of them got looked into, and we've not had any more episodes. So I've still got the camera there just in case, but it worked a treat. So thank you to the lady who suggested that, much appreciated. I think really, because I don't want to, we're on nearly 40 minutes now, so I think this is enough now for a non-whip parade one. Was anything else? No. Oh, so now we're on to the TMI side of things. Oh my god, my cats are having a right go out there. So I've been on the HRT patches now for 2 months, and I'm already seeing an improvement with the brain fog. So, you know, anyone who's thinking of doing it, he's got the thumbs up from me. I mean, I am now having periods again, which is a bit of a downer, but the brain fog is starting to improve, and I'm only 2 months in, and it's like 3 months or so they say that you really start to see the main improvement. So if I'm already starting, so shall I tell you how I know I'm feeling an improvement on it? Every time I've done a floss tube in the past, however many times, whenever I've been trying to remember the name of Pattern Keeper, I've never been able to. I've had to look it up, or I've had to try and work around trying to remember it. Now I know it off the top of my head. There you go. You see, miracles happen. Right, I think I'm going to have to go now because it sounds like World War III is occurring out there with 2 of my cats. So I've got one of them here, nice and fast asleep, and then I've got others going back crap crazy, and also the dog has been really patient downstairs because she's desperate for her walk. So hopefully I'll be back in a month. Don't hold me to it, you know what I'm like. But I've really enjoyed the stitching that I've done here, so I wanted to share it with you. And bye to everybody. I will be going to the next Stitcher retreat bar any, you know, disasters. So that's in March, so hopefully I'll get to see you then. But I hope you really did have a lovely time. From the posts and everything that I've seen, it looks like a good time was had by all. I'm really glad, and I will see you all soon, and have a great day everybody. Bye.